This week, I'm going to be daily driving our Subaru Solterra. This is our all-electric Subaru. Many people ask me, how many miles do you get on a full charged battery? So I've charged up the battery last night, so we've got a full charge right now. I'm gonna be driving it this week to see how many miles we actually get. There are many factors that play into how many miles you can go on an electric car, and one of those is the weather. This week we're gonna have a high of about 85 and a low in the 50s, so depending on what environment you're driving in, that will play heavily into how many miles of range you get on an electric car. So if you live in a really hot environment or a really cold environment, that is going to decrease the amount of miles you get. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Alex. I like to share weekly videos all on Subaru related topics. So if you enjoy those videos, definitely click on that subscribe button. And if you guys learn something new and get value out of this video, please remember to click the like button. That really helps me out and I would greatly appreciate it. The Solterra is rated for 228 miles of range on a full charge, but you'll notice on the top right of the gauge up here that it says 280 for the approximate miles that we'll be getting. And the reason why is because Subaru factors in the use of normal things like your climate control. So whenever you turn your climate controls on, you'll see over here to the left that now our range has dropped down to 221. So climate controls, heat and AC will both play heavily into your ability to get longer range on your electric car. I'll be driving the car as I normally would any other car this week. So whenever it's really hot out, I'll have the AC on full blast and I'll be driving normal speeds like I normally do to and from commute from work and wherever else we'll be going. So this is gonna be a normal real world experience on how many miles we'll actually be getting for the electric Subaru. The Solterra has a feature called one pedal driving. You can click that button right there to turn it on. And what it does is it regenerates the braking energy back into the battery to keep it charged to give you a little bit longer range. I will be using that this week, but I noticed right now if I press it, it beeps and it tells me that it's temporarily unavailable. And I think that's because I already have a full charge or close to a full charge on the battery. So that's probably why it doesn't let me turn that on, but I will be using that this week. This does automatically apply the brake lights whenever you do let your foot off the accelerator. So if you were curious, I did test that out to see if that's what it does. I went just a few more miles down the road and it now lets us turn on the one pedal driving. So just once it's below a full charge, it will let you turn that on just by the touch of a button down here. I failed to mention one key detail at the beginning of this video. We started with 858 miles total on the car. We're now at 866. So that's what we're going to use at the end of this video to determine how many miles we actually get of range. We are on day 2 and we now are at 919 miles. Remember, we started at 858 miles, so we've gone about 60 miles so far, and we have 158 miles of range left. So that's all lining up so far, right around 60 miles less than we were yesterday, just to give you an idea. We are going to be driving about 60 miles on average each day this week. So based on my math, if you take 228 miles of range that it's projected to have, divide that by the 60 miles a day, and we should get 3.8 days before we have to charge the car again. So we should be able to get through to the end of Friday. We'll see if that actually happens. If it does, I think 3 to 4 days on a single charge is pretty good, especially if you can get the level 2 charger at home and charge it much quicker throughout the night where it's uninterrupting your daily routine. We are on day 4 since I last fully charged the Solterra, and so far I'm actually really surprised by the numbers. I've been driving like I normally would with my gasoline car and using the AC on full blast a lot of the days because it has been pretty warm here. Like today, it is 88 degrees, and we started with 858 miles. We're at exactly 1,028 miles. We have 51 miles left calculated of the estimated range. So that puts us at using 170 miles so far. If we add that 51 miles back in, puts us at 221. So we're right on the money in terms of how many miles this has. Now, if I go over here and I turn because it's really hot, I just got in the car. We're going to turn on the climate control, get the AC going. That is going to drop the estimated range, as we've already discussed, because the climate control impacts that, but still pretty good. We have one last trip home to complete the 4 full days of driving on one single charge. I have about a 20 to 25 mile commute back home. So we'll talk about the details. I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts on the Subaru Solterra and using this as a daily driver, and also share with you some details on the charging options you have if you decide to get one of these. All right, so we made it home with 18 miles of estimated range left. Something interesting, this is the first time that I've ran the battery down this low, is that right at 20 miles of range left, this warning light came on, or warning message came on, telling you that the battery level is low and to charge the car soon if you weren't already paying attention to it. So that is nice. You have that little reminder. We have a total of 1,047 miles. If you subtract the 858 miles that we started with, that leaves us with using 189 miles. Then we plug in the remaining estimated 18 miles, and that gets us to 207 miles of total range on a single charge, or because I have the climate control on, if we turn that off, that jumps back up to 23 miles. So without the climate control on, that would get us to about 212 miles of range. So really an estimate, a good safe estimate on a full charge is around 200 miles of range. As I mentioned early in this video, the range is going to be heavily dependent on the type of environment you're driving in. If it's really cold out or really hot out, your range is going to vary. Also, the amount of days you can go on a single charge is going to be heavily dependent on how many miles you drive in a day. I have driven anywhere from 50 to 60 miles in a day on average, and so I'm ranging anywhere from 3 to 4 full days on a single charge, while still using the climate control and driving at normal speeds that I normally would if I were driving in a gasoline car. You have 3 charging levels. You have level 1, that's the slowest charge that you can plug in direct to an AC outlet in your garage, and that will charge about 50 miles, or give you about 50 miles of range for a full 10 hours of charge. So it's very slow, but that is something that you can use that comes with your car. Level 2 is what most people are going to use. It's going to give you a full charge within about 9 to 10 hours, so you can plug this in at night in your garage using a 240 volt. You'll have to get that level 2 charger installed to do this. And then lastly, you have the level 3 charger. The level 3 is the fastest charge. That's the DC fast charge that a lot of people are familiar with. This is something that you would use on road trips, which would give you almost a full charge within about 50 minutes. Overall, I'm really impressed. This is something that if I were to continue daily driving, for me, it would work. I personally would not feel comfortable taking it on a long road trip just because of the range limitations and trying to find charge stations. But for daily driving, saving gas, and driving something that is much better for the environment, this is something that I think I would be very satisfied with. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you guys have any questions, leave those down below. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to click the like button. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.